2023, that was Kitty just leaving. He was like, well, 2023 is done.
Yeah.
I'm gone. See you later. But yes, 2023. What a year it has been.
Not got much of it left now. God, mere hours.
Hours left,
yeah. The rest is riding out on the back of Kitty.
Yeah. So, as is tradition, let's talk about our favourite bits.
Yes.
Our favourite bits of 2023.
Feels like lots of things happened.
But also, very few things happened. I don't know. I was looking back and I was like, "What happened this year? What's going on?"
It's true. It's been a year of extremes.
Yes,
I think that is safe to say.
Okay. Well, Well, maybe then we should kick off with games that we've enjoyed. What games we've played this year. Because we often talk about the things that we've done on the channel this year that we like, and we can do that as well. But there's been plenty of this year's been a bit bad for the games industry in many ways.
It has been bad for the games industry. There's been, I think someone counted it up, it's been like 9,000 people layoffs, people who have lost their jobs, and a lot of uncertainty about the future. And
yesterday, Free Radical said that they were closing
as we're
shop.
recording this.
And that was that was really looking forward to Time Splitters. So our hearts obviously go out to all the developers and everyone.
Absolutely.
Who is especially at
games
this time,
media colleagues as well. It's just been a lot of stuff happening, and it's funny as well because by the extreme, there's been a lot of great games coming out, and some of the people that made those amazing games that have done really well and critically and commercially, they're finding it's just very tumultuous right now.
Yeah. Spare a thought for your favorite, journalists or outlets or developing studios and stuff, and just bear them in your thoughts, because it's a really difficult time at the moment for them.
100%. But there have been some great games to play.
Yes.
I think we've all got our top 5. I haven't really done mine in an order.
No.
No, I haven't. I've just got my five favourites.
Okay.
Tell us some of your favourites, Ian.
Well, I'm going to guess quickly that both of you have got Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
Can you hazard a guess for one of mine?
RoboCop.
Yes, you're right.
You love that. You said that was quite surprising to you as well.
You went out of your way to tell us how much you love that game.
I streamed the entirety of it on my personal YouTube channel. I loved it so much. So I did a big stream on here as well for it. But RoboCop is on there. It's a very kind of AA kind of game,
which you don't get much of anymore.
No. It feels like the line between AAA and AA is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, as well as, I will say, the kind of harshness with which AAs are critiqued.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just like to remind everyone, 3 stars for review is still good. Just because something's not 4 or 5 stars doesn't mean it's not worth playing. But I think loads of AA games really suffer from the 3-star review, and it's just because they're AAs,
Yeah.
Budget.
I get 3 stars in all of my appraisals, and I still think that's good.
So what did you like about RoboCop, Ian?
I loved how faithful it was to the movie. If you're a RoboCop fan, it is just perfect. Peter Weller comes back to do the voice of RoboCop, and all the character models.
Bobby?
All the character models are exactly after they're they're modeled after the people in the film. So it's great, and it's super gory. You can when you shoot people in the heads, their heads explode like ripe melons, just like in the old school movies when there was too many squibs. You can shoot dudes in the dick, and they
I was going to say I haven't actually seen RoboCop, and that's the only thing that I know about it, is that he shoots someone in the dick. So glad that's.
You should watch RoboCop. It still holds up to this day. Great social commentary. And also it has it looks beautiful, right? But there are for some reason, how Gremlin loves paint cans.
Yes.
Well, there are multicolored paint cans throughout the levels, and they're all strategically placed next to explosives and things. So when you're going in, blowing stuff up and creating all this carnage, you get this wonderful rainbow of powdered paint flying up and stuff.
Nice.
It's very cool.
Oh my god, that's so girly pop. I did not see that.
It looks great. Honestly, check out the first stream I did of it on this channel. You can see loads of it. But also on my list, Alan Wake 2.
That's on my list.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's probably my favourite game of the year, just because, I've been around for quite a while. I've played a lot of video games in my time, and it takes a very special video game to consistently make me go, wow, I've never seen that before.
Yes.
And there was so many, wow, I've never seen that before during... Well, I still haven't completed... I've been taking my time with it, and I still haven't fully completed it, but...
And me and Wheels are playing it together at the moment, and we're not... I don't think we're even halfway through yet, but there's so many times where we've just been like, what the fuck is going on? What is happening? Like, I love how it's Twin Peaks surreal. Like, it's so... It's great. Yeah, I really... It's not on my list, but I do like Alan Wake 2.
Hold on a minute. I've just got to use my psychic powers to adjust this tabletop because I knocked it without realising. There we go. Sorry, carry on.
There's something about, like, a Remedy game. Like, Remedy are so... Like, their art direction is just... unlike anything else. You can tell
they don't miss.
They don't miss the juxtaposition between live action and gameplay. I love that they play with that a lot. I love like just their whole aesthetic is just gorgeous, from like, you know, Control to like Alan Wake to Quantum Break. Like, they just look great.
They do.
And they just have fun with it as well. Like, I think like it was the one of the highlights of like the Game Awards was when they got on stage and did a musical number. Like,
I saw the dance that he did.
The smile on Sam Lake's face while he was doing that. He looked so happy. I like, honestly, I can't. It's impossible not to love Sam Lake.
So what else is on your list, Ian? If we go through each of our lists one by one, we can...
Yeah.
I've got 3 more. I'll go through them quick. I've got Super Mario Wonder. I love Super Mario Wonder.
I think that got the only 5-star review on Eurogamer this year.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking through the scores, and that's the only 5-star one this year.
Wow.
It's great. The thing I love the most about it is, for me, it feels like a modern version of Super Mario World, of the Super Nintendo game, which I loved playing with my brother when we were younger, and we like 100%ed it back in the day. And I'm going through Super Mario Wonder now, trying to 100% that as well. So it's just like it's brings back lovely memories, as every Nintendo game does. It just encapsulates childhood gaming kind of. So I love that. Huge fan of Synapse, one of my favourite VR games of the year, just because it did a lot of new stuff with VR, and even though it was very short, everything it did everything it needed to do perfectly. It suited the PlayStation VR 2 headset great with the eye tracking and everything. So I love that. I voted for that in the Game Awards as VR Game of the Year, and it was rubbed.
What got Game of the Year?
It was Resident Evil Village, which you know, it's great. I mean, Resident Evil Village looks amazing in VR. It's an amazing VR game, but it's also a flat screen game. I wanted a pure VR game.
Pure VR game. Yeah,
I agree with that. I feel like it's with more integrity as you'd give it to just like an entire VR game on its own a little bit, but.
But then on that note, my other favourite game of the year was Resident Evil 4 Remake, because I had a lovely time playing that, and I'm having a lovely time playing it again now that the VR mode has come out. So
you have to really like a game to be playing it that many times.
Yeah, genuinely.
But so that's my 5: Alan Wake, Mario Wonder, Synapse, RoboCop, and Resident Evil 4.
I feel a little bit of overlap there. Yeah.
Go on then, Aoife, you go next, because me and Aoife, we know that we have one for sure.
We have at least one, So I have overlap with you in terms of Resident Evil 4 Remake, and I thought it was just great. Like, that's one of my favorite games. It's one of the best games of all time, the original, I would say, and this was like, it's about as good as remakes get. It's like being true to the original, but also elaborating on it in a way that like makes sense to like how games have come along in that time. It looks fantastic. It elaborates enough without like breaking what fans expect to see and want to see. It was a really good runtime as well.
I love games that come and do what they need to do and then leave, you know, like
respect your time.
Yeah, exactly. Especially linear games.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like all the performances were great. Leon was Baby Girl. They introduced Baby Girl for a while. That was fun. Yeah, just really, really fun. And then Alan Wake 2 was on my list as well. Final Fantasy 16 is on there, with the caveat that like a bunch of my friends are in it. But I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a real return to form for Final Fantasy, but in a very different way as well. Like, I liked that it was, you know, it was kind of not exactly traditional Final Fantasy, but it was kind of marrying the traditional themes of Final Fantasy with new kinds of gameplay, while telling a more cohesive story, I would say, than Final Fantasies have done.
Yeah, the one thing I'll always say about Final Fantasy is they always seem to include something in the games that surprise people.
Yes.
You know, like they don't just churn out the same game again and again and again. There's, for better or for worse, there's always something different about their games, which I admire.
And I do think the performances are very good too.
Final Fantasy 16 is kind of like set in the past, isn't it? It's not the one with the boy band in the flying car.
No.
It's 15, okay.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 16 is, I also just really like, it's kind of like, I guess, medieval.
Yeah.
It's kind of more dark fantasy, but like, so it's kind of like got to focus. I always like it when they focus on like the summons as part of the storyline. So they were called icons in this. It was just really, I think it was just really, like, they'd obviously watched Game of Thrones, like, a lot.
No, I mean, as long as they didn't watch the last season, then that's great.
Not quite. And I mean, if you're going to take inspiration for a dark fantasy, there, you know, that's a pretty decent place to draw from, especially like in terms of recent popularity. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It was like, you know, it was a good long game. And we played a lot of it on the channel. Well, I played a lot of it on the channel, which was a lot of fun. And then, like, my other favorite game of the year kind of came out of nowhere, and it wasn't long after I came back that it came out of nowhere as well, which was Dredge.
Oh, I love Dredge. So good.
That surprises me that came out this year, because it feels like I've heard you two speaking about it so much.
Yeah. So, Aoife, why do you love Dredge so much?
I guess because it was unexpected. Because, like, you know, you think about a horror fishing game and you're like, what? But it makes total sense when you're playing it, because there is like that kind of existential horror of it, and like, you know, it kind of weaves in thalassophobia, you know, loneliness, like Lovecraftian sort of aberrations, like, you know, things that seem normal at first, but there's just like a slow creeping skew into.
Like, talking about me.
Like the guy in the docks opposite, who if you give the thing, he just turns like grey. Like, it's just. But the Dredge is so beautiful as well. Like that area you go to with the bioluminescent, like, so stunning.
Gorgeous. And I even find like the aberrated fish gorgeous, like in a weird way. Like you've got it. There's a lot of creativity and ingenuity in making real life types of fish and turning them into these like really weird horrors. But also it's kind of like, I just really enjoyed streaming it because it's a weird thing where it's a horror game, but it's not. It's almost kind of cozy as well. Yeah. It's I love that it has this kind of meandering quality to it, like when you just kind of sail around. Yeah, that's a great pick. And then my final game of the year is, obviously, we mentioned it, it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate? I've never heard you talk about that one before.
No, I know. I mean,
no, not seen any of the 15 videos me and Aoife made about it on the channel. Yeah.
Well, at EGX, when you two started ranking the romances, I was just like, what are you talking about?
You just had like just circus music in your head.
It was like listening to two people. You know, when I can't remember what the language is called, but when people in school, they replace the letters in a word and they
Pig
go,
Latin.
Yeah. It was like hearing people speaking Pig Latin. I was like, what's happening?
It is great. I mean, it's a shame because, like, I just don't think it's your kind of game.
It's not. There are certain games where when you look at them, like Robocop, but also like Resi games where you're like, I can see Ian liking it, but with Baldur's Gate 3, it does just take. It's just if someone's not your cup of tea, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit overwhelming, the amount of stuff that it expects you to know.
Yeah, it is quite involved, and luckily for you, Aoife made an amazing video about why Baldur's Gate 3 is great for D&D beginners. Yeah, it's. But I understand that its mechanics can be overwhelming.
And turn-based combat isn't for everyone. You know?
No.
But I do have it on the console, and I might give it another go. Well, by this point, I might have already given it a go by the time
my God.
watching this video. So we'll see.
The thing is, like, we'll see, because I mean, it's just a very special game, I think, because of like just how much freedom you have in it. How much, like, there are people that have put hundreds and hundreds of hours into that game, and I feel like it's a very fairly rare occurrence that people are putting that much time into games.
One of my best friends is on her 5th playthrough.
Fifth.
And like she loves video games, but she's not like hardcore, so it's awoken something in so many people. Just be like, I'm gonna play this until my eyes bleed and I'm gonna do it some more.
Gotta bang 'em all, Baldur's Gate.
But it's not just, I think it's like, yes, obviously that's part of it, but I think it's also like just how, obviously it's drawing from a really rich source material, but like it's a hugely talented studio that can like draw out that world and make it a world that people want to spend that amount of time in.
Yeah, I would just say, if you liked Baldur's Gate 3, all of you should play Divinity Original Sin 2, which comes from Larian as well. It's like a precursor to Baldur's Gate 3. It's not in the D&D universe, but it is fantastic, and there are so many more mechanics in it, like play with, you know, like water and electricity and stuff. Like, I really recommend it. So yeah.
Good tips.
Yeah.
All right, Zoe.
Okay, so one of my top 5 games is also Baldur's Gate 3. I love that game. So good. I need to download all the mods for it to get like the extra outfits and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because oh my god, there's so many. Then I've also got Slay the Princess, which
I don't know anything about that game, I'll be honest with you.
So good. So it's a very meta point and click where you have to slay the princess, but it's a game that breaks every single wall available. There are like multiple runs you do of it where the princess will remember what you did before, and like there's a whole sense of mystery about it. Like, you can argue with the narrator and ask like why you have to slay the princess, and when you see your hand like opening a door, your hand is like a monstrous one. So there's so many questions in your head about what the hell is going on, why do you need to kill the princess, and then also the princess will like try to talk you out of killing her, and just like the amount of roads you can go down is wild. Like, it is an incredible point and click game.
So it's kind of like awakening the lore.
Finer
in you, yeah.
Imagine like the Stanley Parable, but on acid and in fantasy. It's it's fantastic. The writing, the amount you can do in it. I love Slay the Princess. It's by Black Tabby Games. And then I've also got Tavern Talk on here, which technically isn't out, but I played a demo of it, so I'm going to count it.
Tell us more about that, because I don't know anything about that one either.
So Tavern Talk is like coffee talk, but it's in a fantasy world. So you're like an innkeeper, and adventurers will come to you and talk about their problems, and you serve them drinks, and you kind of try to help them complete their quests or come to like personal realizations. It's got a really interesting like hints about you as the innkeeper as well. Like, you kind of have a dark past, but you're finding out about it at the same time as the other characters who are like, I thought I knew you, but no.
Okay.
But the writing's really good as well. It deals with things like estranged family, kind of like anxiety and like self-doubt, and also you know, forbidden love and that kind of thing. But I really loved it, and I'm very impressed. I'm excited to see the full game.
And you've got a Let's Play of that up on this channel, right?
I do. I've got 2 episodes up on the channel that cover the entire demo. It's very good. Oh, and it has quite a few non-binary characters as well, which I think is sick. Yeah.
Excellent.
And when is it out? Is it out like next year?
I believe it's out next year. Yeah. Okay. I played a fair chunk of it, and it all seems to be fairly, you know, kind of finished, so I think they're just finishing the last bits. Then I've also got Bramble the Mountain King.
You're picking games that I've not touched at all, which I love, because now I'm like, ooh, maybe I should check this one. Tell me more, please.
So Bramble the Mountain King is kind of like Little Nightmares meets Nordic fantasy. So you play this tiny little guy, this little boy, and you kind of have to like...
It's just a tiny guy.
Tiny little
birthday. I'm just a little guy.
It's basically like a platformer, but it's a 3D platformer. So there's one famous scene that's kind of made it onto the internet where he's like making his way through a lake, but there's a I can't remember, I think it's a Rolskin. A creature who plays the violin by the waterfall in Slavic lore, but it's like chasing you throughout the lake, and it'll like come up through the water and like smash you. Like, it's really scary because you're just so small and it can just destroy you instantly. But the story's quite harrowing, but it's just a really beautiful, scary kind of like folk tale game. That I really like. It's sick. Ian, you should play it because you like Little Nightmares. So I love it. Enjoy Bramble the Mountain King.
It definitely sounds good. I like the fact that you've got a couple of like quite, you know, you haven't gone for the big AAA hitters.
No,
as well.
not at
all.
all.
Nice little hidden gems in your list.
This year's really been about indies for me, I'll be honest. Like, Blue Oak Bridge I really like. It's not on my list, but it's great. But I've really been going hard for the indies, so I've got a lot of indie. And my final game is Lethal Company.
Oh, nice. Good call.
I love that game
last
so
minute
much.
edition as well.
Yeah, like the last month or something.
Yeah.
I've been playing it after work with a lot of my friends, and it's just it never ceases to surprise me because the game itself is fantastic, but the situations you get in, oh my god!
Because I know nothing about the development of it, but it's quite like I don't want to say janky because that sounds derogatory, but like it's very lo-fi, but in the way it looks, but the systems are quite clever.
Yeah, it's really good, and I actually really like the fact that your XP goes down when you get fined, because then when you do get to a higher level, you're like, oh, I've actually really earned this. I did really well. When we next play it, we need to have someone stay in the ship, because that gives a whole nother level when you're like, oh my god, there's something bad coming your way, and like trying to direct people to safety. But yeah, I love Lethal Company.
Yeah, someone described it, I can't remember who it was, so apologies, but someone described it as the ultimate fuck around and find out game.
I think that was yeah.
Even though surprisingly you running around with an air horn took you a long time to find out. I love Lethal Company. I think it's made by a single person from what I remember. And I think it's such a good testament to like it's the stuff that you would never expect that comes and surprises you. Like there's such a thirst now for really good co-op games, and we're so lucky that we're entering a period of gaming where there's some incredibly creative indie developers who are just like, this is a cool idea, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to make it and see if people like it.
Yeah, you're so right.
And Lethal Company, I think, is one of the rare co-op horror games that really works, and I kind of prefer it to Phasmophobia. So
honestly, I think I do too now.
Really?
Yeah, I think I think I've played it a few times off stream, but not a huge amount. And it just always surprises and makes me laugh until I cry. Which is what Phasmophobia used to do.
True.
Until I don't know whether we got
over familiar
with it or what.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it still feels nice and fresh.
But yeah, like, do you know Lethal Company has a level with a mansion?
No.
Yeah, because even though we've played it a fair amount, there's still stuff that we're going to discover in it, which is what makes it even more one of my favorite games this year. Is that there's such a good progression in it, and there's so much that we haven't found out that I hope in 2024 we get to find out about it.
Well, we need to play it more clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah. So let's talk about our highlights of just stuff we've done this year.
Well, I can speak for both me and Ian on this one. It's not going to count in our list, but one of Ian's highlights was having Aoife back.
It was one of my highlights too.
It feels so weird to think we started the year without you and now we got you back, and it's just like, the team is, the chaos is back together.
Yeah, it does feel weird to even think that it was this year as well. Like, I've said this to you both before, but that 6 months I was away, it felt to me like it went like that because like obviously I'm dealing with a whole new set of stuff all the time. So the time just went so quickly. But then like, while I was away, it's like, it's a weird thing about like dealing with a newborn baby. It's like the days are long, they're so long sometimes, but the months are really short. It's really true. So yeah, coming back after like all of that upheaval was really nice, and just getting to play games with you both again. Just hang out with the community again, and it was just real nice.
I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, wow, it's like a year ago Aoife was off on maternity leave now. And we're nearly, it's almost been, well, when was it you came back? Like February?
The very start, So
February. Like 10 months.
10 months.
Wild. But like, as it always is when any of us goes away, we all just slot right back in. It's like, 9 times past.
Like no time has passed. I know.
Anyway, that incredibly wholesome moment aside, Aoife, do you want to start with your best bits of the year?
Yeah, I mean, that was genuinely one of them. And then I guess just scary co-op games again. Like I've got Phasmophobia down, but also like the times that we played, like obviously Lethal Company is in there as a more recent addition, but also just any of those really I have such a soft spot for all of our janky horror.
I love jank horror.
Whether it's Devour or it's the other one that I forget the name
Forewarned?
of. Forewarned. That's the Egyptian one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the other one we did for
Pacify.
the Hello stream?
Pacify too,
Yeah, I think Jank Horror and Eurogamer just go hand in hand. Like they're the perfect game for us just to like arse around in.
Well, you know, you need Jank Horror for Jank video producers, I guess.
Yeah, that is true.
That's very fair.
Like, I mean, just like with the more recent, with Lethal Company, like not knowing, as you say, not knowing what the heck is going on, it really adds a new element of fear. Like when the monster was like, I heard banging because obviously I was in that ship while you guys were like trying to find loot, and I heard noises, but it didn't register to me until you guys came back and you're like, oh shit, something's out there. I was like, oh god, I've been like vulnerable this whole time.
It's what makes the editing together our different perspectives so interesting, because seeing what we each have to deal with when our walkie-talkies aren't working is terrifying.
Yeah, and then when that monster came in the ship and like absolutely, like Ian had to watch me be thrown around first, and then he just went,
oh god, yeah.
Those are it's those kind of moments that really make Lethal Company for me. For them.
And then my final highlight was EGX and MCM London, being back and seeing people again and doing our meet and greets and doing our live shows, walking around the show floor, recording stuff, and I don't know, just being out and about again. It's just real nice.
Being people with bottom halves that people can see, you know, the interesting stuff.
Our legs.
Yeah, they definitely saw a lot of my legs at EGX.
Oh god,
they did. They saw a lot more than just your legs as well.
God help us.
So it was great though, because we had probably one of the biggest crowds of regular viewers.
I think we did. I think it was our biggest turnout so far.
Yeah, they had so many people that we, you know, like coming up on our meet and greets, like so many people. Like we there was one point where we were sat next to the audio composers of Sea of Thieves. No, ukulele and stuff like that. Grant Kirkhope and stuff.
Yes.
And they sat down after our line had started, and they left while our line was still going. I was like, those guys are insanely talented. What the hell? So, you know, it was awesome to see so many people come and say hello.
Yeah.
Honestly, we appreciate every single one of you who either stays home or comes to see us, but it's just so special for us to see your faces and be like, oh my god, real people.
Yeah, there was so many people at these shows in particular this year that we've known for years in chat, but actually got to see for the first time and put like faces to names, which
is weird, because then I'm like, oh my god, I'm meeting a celebrity. I know you from online.
And the big shout out to the Koreckis as well, John and Kathy Korecki, who came all the way from America to bring me some Orion beer. Nice.
Oh yes, you deserve it. All
absolute heroes. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. All right, who's going next?
Ian, you go next.
Okay, so mine's first one is kind of easy to guess. This year I got to play on the PlayStation VR 2 and the Quest 3, two great new VR headsets. Were released. You know, I got the PSVR 2 early for a review for the website, and I did an unboxing for the channel that went down swimmingly.
But the point is that you got it. Like, being recognised by PlayStation is a big deal.
Awesome.
All the work that you've done for VR.
So it was highly anticipated launch for the PlayStation VR 2, so I was really excited to get my hands on that. So that was like a very exciting time, and playing all the new games for that was great. The Quest 3 I wasn't that interested in because I didn't like the Quest 2, but when it turned up, I thought it was phenomenal. I'm really into the Quest 3 as well.
Nice.
So, in terms of headsets and VR, it's been a great year for VR and a good year for VR Corner in terms of new tech to play.
What made the Quest 3 better than Quest 2?
There's a lot more, so it's got a new chip inside it, which makes the graphics a lot better. Like the previous ones were kind of a bit potato mobile phony style.
Okay.
Now with the new lenses and the new chip, all the games look so much nicer than before. It feels like a generational console leap.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those crispy graphics.
Exactly.
Yum, 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 yum.
Exactly, and that's all when it's not plugged into a PC as well. That's just when it's natively running. When it's actually plugged into a PC as well, then you get all the flat screen to VR mods and everything as well. So, yeah, people ask me what I prefer out of the PSVR 2 and the Quest 3, and I find it really hard to answer now because I love them both. They're both great in their own ways, and they both do things that the other can't do.
More choice is not a bad thing.
Exactly. The second thing I really loved this year was hanging out with your husband, Aoife. We do.
He's all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, we do a lot of weird things for this channel. A lot of get up to a lot of wacky shenanigans, and being able to do a sponsored video for Nvidia of that kind of scope and scale, which included like planning out these. I had to go to 4 different places around the UK and play video games set in those places on an Nvidia laptop.
Like in the wild.
Yeah. And you know, like in the space of 2 days, I played Watch Dogs Legion, sat at the gates of Buckingham Palace. I sat on the eye of the Uffington White Horse and played Forza Horizon as Seb flew a drone around me. I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla at Stonehenge. You know, like going to that was my first time at Stonehenge. Yeah,
that is a great video. If you're not even interested in just go watch that video anyway. It's really funny. Like for Ian's intro alone, where the guy walks in, like it's very very.
I'm never prepared for Ian's writing ever. Like
I know.
ever.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, and also I got to do in Silverstone as well. We were like, how are we going to film in Silverstone? You can't get onto the track. There was no race in there. And we were like, oh, maybe we're just going to have to sit outside by a road sign and fudge it. And then I found out that they just built a new hotel right next to the track. And because there was no race days going on, it was not booked out or anything. So I phoned them up and I requested a hotel room on next to the track. And then we just sat right next to the track, like playing F1.
A real cheat code, that one.
Yeah, genuinely.
It was awesome. It was just a great little 2-day adventure. And we got some good hashtag content out of it as well.
You really did, very worth it.
And my final point kind of plays into that, is just that one of the things I love most about this job is the opportunities to travel and get out and about and do stuff. So along with doing that kind of thing, I went to London for a movie premiere for Dungeons and Dragons, saw Jason Isaacs. I went to Windsor to play Metal Gear Solid remake. I went to Pinewood Studios to see Taskmaster being recorded, which is awesome. I went to Paris to play Endless Dungeon. I went to Bordeaux.
You went to Bordeaux, but we didn't talk about that because we certainly didn't talk about the airport part of it.
The game was fine, but the airport part was. And I went to Stockholm to play Payday 3 as well. So I've stretched.
You've been all around.
Yeah. So here's to more travelling in 2024. Fingers crossed.
I'm sure there'll be more in 2024. 100%.
It's the great thing about this job is just the unexpected nature of it.
True, you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
It's always different, which is really nice. For sure. Zoe, what about your highlights?
So one of them is Break Quest Club getting going again. Because I've missed Morrigan, goddammit. I've missed just having impulses. So yeah, I love Break Quest Club. I love that it gives us all time to just kind of be really creative in a room together, and it's really fun. I love that.
Yeah.
And Liv was excellent.
Liv was amazing.
DM,
If you haven't seen the episode yet, go and watch it. Liv is a fantastic DM. She's created such a scary world for us, and even in the first episode, I didn't expect what was happening. It's so different from what we thought it was going to be. So
I love not knowing.
So I think some really interesting things are going to happen in the campaign, and that when you're excited to find out what's going to happen next, that's when you know it's a good DM. And linked to that, DMing at EGX was honestly one of my highlights.
And you were so good at it.
Thank you.
Amazing.
It's really kind of set my brain on fire. I really do prefer DMing to playing, and so I'm so grateful that at MCM Birmingham I got to do my DMing panels, which thank you for turning up, those of you who came, because it was so good to see so many people sitting down taking notes. Now, when I was talking about DMing, I was like, oh shit, I love this. I love talking about world building and how to do it. So in 2024, if I get my way, I'll be running some more stuff on the Eurogamer channel.
I had neither played a one-shot before nor even known completely what one was. But it was the escape room. Yeah, the escape room kind of theme was really good.
Nice. Well, if we do EGX next year, bearing in mind everything else that's going on, hopefully another one shot will be coming. But yeah, DMing has it kind of reignited my creative spark in a way that other things haven't. So I feel like, as well as it being really fun to do with you two for a personal thing, it was a really big deal as well.
Amazing.
So I love DMing. And finally, Lethal Company streams.
Yay!
I really love that game.
Here.
I do like Phasmophobia, but everyone watching this, you know this. We work really hard. We always have a lot on, and some of it's not so fun, some of it's just normal stuff. So when a game comes along that I really look forward to streaming, and I know it's going to be really fun for you to watch as well, it just makes me really happy, personally and professionally. And I love that Lethal Company has kind of perfectly melded what is technically work with also intense fun. So
it's the kind of thing that you sit down and we're just going to enjoy it, and that translates to watching something really fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like games that completely break Aoife as well. Like that. Do you remember the break-in? Yeah.
That was actually, that was absolutely hilarious.
The break-in,
the one where I bonked that guy on the head, and he just turned into a vortex.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Ian and Wheels were climbing the ladder
sideways.
Oh god! Yeah, I remember that. Oh my god!
We should,
tiny legs.
Yeah, maybe we should do some more like that in 2024.
We should do some more like that.
That was
but
funny.
One of the best things about this job is getting to play those really fun co-op streams with Aoife and Ian, in my opinion. Just because we love bringing you the content that we enjoy making, things to know about X or Baldur's Gate guides and stuff, but there's something incredibly liberating about us just being able to be ourselves and play streams for you lot. So thank you so much for turning up to watching all of our streams, whether you're interested in the game or not, because it's nice just to be us on camera for once, and not have to write a script for everything. So thank you so much, everyone.
True. Well, there you go. I mean, I think that is a nice note to end it on as well. Do let us know some of your highlights as well in the comments. We would love to hear about them, because there's not very much left of 2023.
No,
it's ticking by.
I'm just about to go off and open a bottle of champagne. I got to drink that before midnight.
I still have the Moet and Chandon. You forgot me, so I'm gonna have that.
Down it. All right, well, Happy New Year, everyone. See you in 2024.
We will. Bye.